Good morning, senior 2 students. Today we're going to start discussing A Doll's House, our drama for this term. A Doll's House was written by Henrik Ibsen. Henrik Ibsen was one of the dramatists who was always known for his feminism. The word feminism means that he's always standing behind women and he's always defending women's rights. He was one of those who was considered an inspiration for a lot of other dramatists who wrote about this conception. During the time of Ibsen, women has no rights. They only have duties to be done, but no rights at all. And Ibsen and lots of other dramatists have always defended women, and they always ask for the conception of equality between genders, equality between males and females. His drama A Doll's House have certain themes that try to deliver such conception. One of these main themes was feminism. Another one was gender role. Another theme is the conception of marriage and how is that institution ruled. Later, he presented the conception of financial support for a family, and was money effective or not in the lives of people. Our drama A Doll's House, from the title we can guess and deduct that we are supposed to have a doll as our heroine. The doll here is called Nora. Nora Helmer is our heroine, the main character here, and all the events and all the drama is happening and circulated around that character. Nora is presented as a very devoted wife, a very nice woman who always cared about the happiness and the satisfaction of the people around her. She always tried to keep her household, and she's always trying to make everyone happy. At the beginning of our play, Nora is presented at the time of Christmas. And the time of Christmas is chosen at the beginning of our play because it's important for Christians. People at that time celebrate Christmas, and everyone is happy. Everyone is ready to give and to offer others happiness and satisfaction. We are going to be surprised that Nora, at the very beginning, is presented more like a child, not as a wife. Her husband is always calling her very, let's say what? He's pampering her by using some nicknames. Most of these names is preceded by the word little. Little squirrel, little spendthrift, little songbird, and things like this. The word little is presented for a certain reason. Our writer here wants to show us that Torvald Helmer, which is her husband, Torvald is the husband, he is always considering his wife to be a little person. Little means that she's not capable of taking decisions. She is more like a doll in his life. What's going to surprise us that Nora is presented at the beginning and she's happy by the life that she lived at that time. She's happy to be the doll. She's keeping her household. She is managing the life of her husband, the life of her children, and she's really happy by this. She believed that this is her role in life. Our play will start and nearly ended at the same place. The setting of the play will not change. We will start at the hall of Torvald Helmer's house. the room where Nora will all the time be presented. She's going to be there all the time. Other characters are going to enter and leave the room while Nora is always there until the very end. Before the drama ends or the play ends, we'll find that the setting will change. But since the beginning till till we reach the end, we are going to find Nora at the same place. At the beginning of the play, we are at the Christmas time in Torvald Helme's house. Nora has just arrived. She came home after she had bought presents for Christmas for everyone, for her children, for her husband, for her servants, for everyone. And also she has brought a Christmas tree, which she's going to hide and keep it as a surprise for her children. When Nora enters, she didn't ask the maid or the servant whether her husband is there or not. She started to act more like a child. She tried to listen for his voice, either he's inside his office or not, and she discovered that he was there. The normal attitude of any wife is to ask the servant, is the master there or not, but Nora never did so. She acts more like a child. She's a little childish in the way she deals and acts with others around her. There is something that we would know about Nora. She was devoted. She was a loving wife. She is a very devoted mother. She loved her children so much, but she had a point of weakness. She has a certain weakness towards a certain kind of sweets called macaroons. She loves and adores eating macaroons. The surprising thing that we're going to know that her husband has always tried to prevent her from eating the macaroons. Sometimes he told her that they need to economize, so they can't spend money on certain things. And sometimes he presented the idea that macaroons are sweets and they are going to bring to make her a little heavy, yes, later on, because he always wanted the perfect wife or the perfect doll that he had married. He's always happy to find her beautiful and caring about her appearance. This really pleased him. Despite that, Nora could never prevent herself from eating the macaroons. So she always bought macaroons secretly, and she pretended that she doesn't. She eats it secretly without anyone's knowledge, which is really childish. If she was a grown-up and she's a grown-up wife, she's supposed to do all what she wants freely without even caring about anyone. When her husband came out of his study, she tried to show him the things that she had bought. They had a very important conversation about the importance of economizing and not spending too much money on trivial things. Torvald, the husband, seemed to be a little more practical. He is so much down to earth, not like his wife Nora. He's always trying to correct her mistakes. He's always trying to perfect her ideas by telling her that we shouldn't spend as much money as she do. Nora was happy to spend the money, and money was one of the things that really bring joy to her, because money is the only way for her to buy things that she likes. The conversation completes and reaches the point that he told her that we don't have the money to complete the month later on or to complete until he has his salary. But Nora is always trying to argue with him that he has been promoted and she has the right to spend a little too much. Then an important discussion will appear when Nora suggested that they can borrow money. Torvald's conception about borrowing is very important. He told Nora that borrowing is a kind of slavery. Borrowing would never be a solution to financial problem. If you try and borrow money from anyone, this meant that you are going to deprive yourself from the happiness that you have, because the only thing that you would care about is the money that you have borrowed, and that you need to bring money and to pay back what you have borrowed before. So this would be a kind of a cycle that would never end. You work in order to support the family, but instead of supporting your family, you're going to pay your debts. So debts and borrowing is a kind of slavery. Although he tried to talk to her in a very sensible way, but Nora was never convinced. On the contrary, she was a little annoyed by what he was saying. Once he felt that she was annoyed by what he was telling her, he knew how to make things go well with her. He knew that the only thing that he would bring her back and make her happy again is through money. So he tried to tempt her by showing her his wallet and telling her that this is her reward. This is the money that she's going to have in order not to be sad. Once he did this with her, she opened up for him and she was really happy by receiving the money. And he told her that he has always been very careful and he kept the money for the rest of the month. He knew what he was doing. Torvald appeared to be more sensible and more practical than Nora. At the end of this conversation, we are so much aware that what was happening between them was more like Torvald in control and Nora is under his control, and she enjoyed being like this. She is facing the society through her husband, and that's what Epson was trying to show us, that women or females at that time have no individual identity. Most of the women were presented the same like Nora. They were all having their identities through certain male figures, either through their husbands, through their fathers, or through their brothers, if it was possible. And only unlucky women who could never have such a female identity to be presented through were the ones who were suffering in the society at that time. If a woman have no father, her father have died, and she's not married, so she will be forced to enter, to have a job or to start working. And this wasn't easy at that time. Women would never be allowed to have good jobs at that time. And that's, or maybe a widow. If one of the ladies lost her husband has died, she became a widow, and this meant that she would never be able to find money to support her, and she would be forced to start working. And at that time, problems will start in their lives. And these are the main ideas of Epson that he wanted to present, that women have no separate identity. On the contrary, they were always under the control of male figures. Thank you so much for your listening. I hope that you're going to follow our videos concerning the drama, and that I would be able to deliver the most important points about our play that's going to help you to analyze all what you need. See you inshallah next video for more discussion about our drama. Thank you.